Hello to everyone. This is HD Chambers with A-Leaf ISD. Again, I come to you on a Thursday. It is May the 14th at approximately 3:40 p.m. And I have a couple of topics I'd like to share with you into this week's video. Now, before I get into those two, just a real quick kind of overview about where we are right now. We are at a point in our school year, albeit different than any in the history of my career. We are at a point in our school year where school is beginning to kind of wind down. Uh, Even if we were in school like we normally are, this would be the time of the year we're starting to see students prepare for final exams and teachers beginning to make decisions about students and just a lot of different, logistics going on about what it takes to bring a school year to a close. So all that's going on, regardless of the situation we find ourselves in, we're doing that. And I want parents and I want students to know that our teachers are taking the work that you've been performing for the last 2 months, either on pencil and paper or online, seriously. They're grading it. They're attempting to make professional decisions about your continued education, and we will act accordingly. Uh, Parents, I want you to know that well, and students too, but we want you to know we're being as fair and as reasonable as we can as we look at what's occurred um, over the last couple of months as it relates to the teaching and learning process. Um, in spite of everyone's Herculean efforts to stand up a technology-based education and to provide pencil paper packets for families, we all know that the education provided has not been nearly enough to move our students and to meet the standards that we have in A-Leaf. So I'm gonna talk about that in a future video, but we're aware of that. So what we're trying to do right now is determine what is in the best interest of each student and make good academic decisions for that young man or young lady or that little boy, little girl, good social emotional decisions for them. So please know we're working hard on that. The big issue that we made a decision on that I know many of you have already heard through social media or through just friends or family members, we have decided that we are going to hold, and conduct an in-person outdoors graduation ceremony at Tully Stadium in Spring Branch ISD. Uh, their stadium is large enough to accommodate um, at least a couple of guests per graduate, so that the graduates can enjoy the ceremony and being with their classmates for one last time, and at least two family members or friends or guests uh, can attend if they wish. Um, Let me just say this: I understand not everyone's going to be happy with this decision. You may not be happy because of having to make a decision on what two guests get to attend. You may not be happy because you feel like it's potentially putting people in their health at risk, and I completely understand those concerns. But I have confidence in our district. I have confidence in our host, Spring Branch, that we're going to put every safety protocol in place for both our kids, our students, our graduates, and our adults, meaning staff and community members and family members. Um, just like you're seeing out in society right now. If you go to a grocery store, if you go to any of the retail centers that are now opened in the last couple of weeks, we're going to be just as strict and prescriptive on safety protocols as we possibly can, fully knowing there's going to be the responsibility of the adults and of the students to honor those to the best of their ability. But one of the things my seniors on my student advisory committee have told me since day one on this was, if at all possible, and it was reasonable, that they would like to have an in-person graduation somewhere, somehow, somehow. And if it was possible to do that, they would like to have at least the opportunity for their parents or for some loved one for them to have guests there. And that's what we're attempting to provide for them. So um, if you're concerned about that, I understand. But we're going to do everything we can do to put safety protocols in place that protects everyone. and hope that people respect that and respect those safety protocols that will be in place. So that's graduation. It's going to be the week of June the 8th. Most of you have already seen the messages that have gone out in terms of what school is going to be on what date. But it'll be, we will recognize those seniors. We will graduate them. We will celebrate them like we do any class of graduates, and recognize their efforts over the last 12, 13 years, 14 if they started in pre-K. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. The board is excited. And you will continue to get more information as it relates to the event, the graduation event itself. So that's that. The last thing I'll just mention once again, I've tried to talk about this each week. We are looking at how we can enter the 2021 school year, knowing that we're going to have learning gaps with our students. Everyone is, not just us. So our calendar committee, our additional school days calendar committee task force is continuing to work on draft calendars that may start the school year a little bit early. Or earlier. Our originals right now, our school start date is August the 17th. We are considering an earlier start date, and then with some significant breaks as we get into the school year, which will be new for A-Leaf. But we're looking at different things like that to attempt to provide two things. One, address the learning gaps that are created. In other words, let us measure students when they get back. Let's see exactly where they are, regardless of their grade, regardless of their content or the subject. Let's figure out, what do we need to reteach? What do we need to go back and make sure that we teach them? And then we need to give teachers time to do that. And we also need to give teachers time to train and to be, to put in we call it professional development, so that they can meet the needs of each student. So in the next, hopefully in the next week or so, you're going to begin hearing more about this. I've got to share with the board, our school board, some of our ideas. And as I mentioned last week, I asked for your patience and your flexibility. I will continue to do that. And please know that any suggestions, recommendations, ideas that we have will be based in large part on those two issues: our students and how can we get them caught back up, and our staff, our teachers in particular, on training and how can we put them in the right position. And to wrap all this up, I know that along with that conversation of restarting, there are a lot of questions, tons of questions. I've got tons of questions that we don't have answers to. We don't have answers to the social distancing question. We don't have answers to, are we going to have to stagger our students when they come, to school, so that we keep enough room or enough distance between both adults and students. Questions that have to do with, what if parents don't send their children back to school because of their safety issues? Questions about, what if staff members are concerned and do not want to come back to work in a physical environment? So all of those questions, we are attempting to put contingency plans around this bigger issue of not just building a calendar, but what happens when you put the calendar in place, and will people how they react to it, both parents and students as well as staff. We are working on a survey that we're going to be sharing and putting out to our community and our staff members. It's going to be done professionally, not by us. Just trying to get a feel for where everyone is right now. And we'll probably do another one sometime in late June, early July, to see how those feelings have changed or adjusted. So we're attempting to do as much as we can to make the best decisions we can with the information we have at any given time, knowing that at some point I've got to make decisions on things like graduation. At some point I'm going to have to make a decision on when do we start school, and that's going to be sooner than later. But just know that we're working diligently right now to make that a good decision. So with that, God bless everyone. Thank you for your support of our school district. Thank you for the support of education and teachers across this area, across the region, across the state. And hope everyone has a blessed day. God bless every one of you. Thank you.